I thought it would help a little bit if I were to explain this to some degree and show you some examples. So, the initial signal is up here. This is the volume spike and then making a new low or a high within the 60 period Donchian channel. So that's showing you when the volume breaks above the third standard deviation band and the low is equal to the lower band of the Donchian channel, or the high is equal to the upper band. And as it's pushing it down, it's going to be equal to the band. It's never below it or above it, obviously. So then, um, I'm extending that forward 60 bars. This is all explained in the document, and I also made this little flowchart here, which I think might kind of help you understand the logic. So it's a pretty neat little, if I do say so myself, neat little thing. I found this Lucid Charts. It's just a Google Chrome app, so it's pretty neat. Anyway, so I've extended that forward 60 bars, and then I'm actually eliminating the first 10 bars of the signal because I don't want to get that initial event and then have it trying to go long or short within the first 10 bars. So I want to give it time to at least make a move up and then back down, or down and then back up to a new high or a new low. So you can see that this signal was taken from this initial signal here. Just to show you that again. And then let's see, yeah, down here is all the volume, the better volume stuff. So let me just connect that. So it's going to signal anytime there is a climax, breakout, climax churn, which I know doesn't really sound like it makes sense, but it does. Churn, weak churn, or weak breakout climax volume. And you could use volume per range and figure out some other stuff, but I'm not really fooling with that here. I just want to keep this as simple as possible because this could be a little complex for some people. I know a lot of you guys are pretty brilliant, so I'm just hoping this could help somebody be able to add this to an existing system. This obviously isn't anything that could be used standalone. It could be used as a kind of alert, but you obviously don't want to be entering or exiting. Well, you could actually use this as part of your exit logic, but you don't want to enter based solely on this volume divergence. It's just designed to kind of help you with anything you're working with already. And this is showing you whenever, and that's this little indicator here. That's this little yellow line. It's basically 2 times the previous volume. So this volume high times 2 is giving you that, which is obviously just displaced 1 bar. So it's just the high of the volume multiplied by 2 of the, and the period's 1 because it's just looking at the previous bar. So any of those, it's all connected with an OR node. So any of these would be the volume event, and as long as it's less than the previous max volume of the past 60 bars, then it's considered volume divergence. It's less than the previous spike high. So you get this spike high here, and then all these subsequent bars are less than. So that technically meets the criteria, and then you have to have all these other things come into place as well. So this is my exit. I'm sorry, my entry price bar logic. Let me just connect that and show you. There was a specific bar I wanted to be able to show, and I wanted to do that with the least amount of solvers possible. So, obviously programming a simple reversal bar is not difficult by any means, but let me just kind of go through here and see if I can find that one case. Yeah, it was right here. This was one of them anyway. So it's not quite a reversal bar. It's still a down bar technically, but I mean, you can tell there's a lot of buying in that bar. It's closing way off the lows. It's a long bar. So I'm counting that as a reversal bar long because it has closed higher within the 70th percentile of the bar, and it's closing within 40% of the high, and the bar length is long enough, and that's pretty much got that. And with that logic, it allows a few more different bar types, which I'm not going to get into, but let's just kind of go through some of the signals. So this is basically based on this previous pivot. It would be better if it were based on maybe this pivot, but this volume spike was obviously higher than this one, so anyway, this works. You may not consider that a great signal, and I wouldn't, because there's not enough bars in between. I think it just barely breaks 10 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so it's on the 12th bar. So that barely meets it. I like it to be at least 20 bars. Usually between 30 and 50. There are a couple of really good examples. Like this is a decent example. I don't like the fact that it's on the first bar. I actually eliminate the very first bar at 9:30 to 9:31, and then I'm eliminating the last 15 minutes of the session. So it's only going, and well, actually the last 16 minutes, it's only going to 15:59. So I don't want to get that last volume bar that's up around 14,000 and have it skew my Bollinger Band. So what I would like to do, and maybe one of you guys could help me, is like Fat Tails, and there was someone else that made the VWAP extend into the overnight session. It uses only the day session, the pit session, whatever, and then it extends those values straight out across the overnight session. So if I could do that, if I could use the electronically traded session, but then have, set up 3 sessions to where I have what I would consider the day session, which would be 9:31 to 15:59, and then 16 to well, I guess to the next to 9:31. Alright, well, no, three sessions would be best. So if I could do that and then have the Bollinger Bands only access that session from 9:31 to 15:59, and then have the Bollinger Bands go straight across from 16 to 9:31, that would be great, because then I could have this set up on the ETH. Since you can't layer a chart in NinjaTrader with a different session, so I can't use an ETH chart and then layer in a 1-minute chart with a different session. At least I don't think I can do that. I've tried and I can't figure it out if you can. So anyhow, let me go over a few more examples here. This one I don't like so much because it's coming down so steeply, so with so much force here, and the volume spike is actually here rather than on that pivot low. And that's the thing I was talking about in the document, how this is the one downfall to this method is I'm not able to line up this pivot low with the volume event. So whereas it's using this volume bar to define this signal, it's not using the last pivot low here. And there could be a problem with using the last pivot low too, because you would want to allow for such as this. You have this signal, and both of these signals are triggered by this event right here, right? I think it's fairly obvious. So if you were using the previous pivot low, then for this signal it would be using this low, and there is no volume event on that low, so there's a trade-off to it here. I mean, I haven't found a problem with it yet, except for this one signal like this, but it's turned out you probably made a point and a half off of it if you didn't hold it through all this and then lose money. But then again, you're not really using this as an entry system per se. You could add it on to something you've previously been working on, but if you were short from here, you would definitely want to get out there. So, and that's a decent signal there. There are a couple of spectacular signals that I'd like to show you. That was decent. Then again, it's using this low here, but that's fine. Okay, I actually took this long. Let's see, in this case, and this was while I was actually building the system, I wanted to, it just so happened there was a kind of exception that discretionarily I would take, and I did take, but it's not considered volume divergence because this was actually a lot higher volume. But then rather than coming down and making a lower low, it turns right back around right there on a long bar doji. And it was just fairly obvious that was going to go up. There's a lot of buying pressure there, and then it makes this beautiful symmetrical pattern. It's 56 minutes from this low to this low, and then 56 minutes from this high to this high, and the same move in price, which you don't see this very often. And it retraced 50%. So there's a neat little pattern there. The problem here is that it's trading through the session, and I really wouldn't allow that. So I would probably want to eliminate the first 10 or 15 minutes of the session, and you could do that with a time session solver. I'm not sure how you would do it in NinjaScript. I'm sure it's easy to you coding geniuses, but I just don't know how to code, so not very well anyhow. Just now learning, but you could add in any template you want to filter out trades by whichever hour. And I would filter out probably the first 15 minutes, and then Linda said something about the best, or something about the modeling that she did. It seemed to work out better in the first couple of hours of the session. And from looking at it, I can't tell one way or the other, but it seems to work in the afternoon as well. So, but she's done a lot of modeling, so I would tend to trust what she says. So there was one really good case I'd like to show you before I turn this thing off. That's a decent signal there. I don't like this one because there's not enough move in the opposite direction beforehand. I like this signal better because you do get this push up and then it comes back down, but it's not really coming down far enough for me. I like this one a little bit better because it's you're getting that sharp move down and then a quick knee jerk back up, and then it's kind of trickling down on lower volume, and then you get that higher volume bar and a big reversal bar, and then you go back up. So I do like that one. Now let me just go through some of these and find that good one. I like that one too because you get this this V looking move. You get a straight move down on climactic volume. It pushes right back up, and then it kind of trickles down here, and that's your signal. So let's find this one event. There it is, yeah. So that's a that's a really beautiful one. This reminds me actually of the 2009 low in March on a weekly chart of the S&P. So that's a picture perfect. I wonder how many minutes that is. Probably about 30. Oh, 17. Yeah, why did I say 30? Huh. So that's good enough. I mean, you get a really strong straight move down. It jerks right back up, and then it comes down, and then you get another climactic bar there, and then a weak churn in the better volume on a hammer looking bar, and then it just blows right back up out of that down move. So yeah, I like this for finding a good place to exit, or finding that first major pivot in the ES in the morning. So I hope this helps somebody. I think if any of you guys have any ideas and you want me to build a little bit more on it, I don't know how many people use Bloodhound. Um, I love it because it's enabled guys like me that aren't very good at programming or don't know how to program at all to do stuff like this. So I think it's pretty awesome. So if there's any of you out there that use it, then if you'd like me to add a couple of ideas to this little template, then that would be fine. So just let me know.